Welcome to Fabulously Flawed with your host, Marni, where Mondays mean motivation, and by Wednesday, we're dishing out dazzling advice with a Newsweek twist. This is your go-to spot for embracing the mess, celebrating the successes, and never letting anyone dull your sparkle. Join us for laughs, life lessons, and a whole lot of fun. Fabulously Flawed, where perfect is overrated and every flaw is fabulous.
Hey, fabulous friends, fabulous listeners, fabulous everybody. Welcome to Fabulously Flawed podcast. I am your host, Marni, and thank you for joining me on a little bit of Monday Marnivational, Marn Day, motivational, let's make it magical and not miserable. It's a new week. It's a new chance for opportunity for you to love yourself a little bit more. It's also the last day of September, which is very important. It is the last day of Suicide Awareness Month, but in my world, suicide awareness is every day and really needs a lot more attention rather than just 1 month. But I am so proud of the people that used to have zero interest wanting or learning to know anything about mental health, who have reached out to me and said, you know what? I put myself on that medication, or I reached out to this doctor, and I am so proud of everybody. Even if you just woke up today, you did it, because there are many days some people do not wake up. And the saddest statistic is, if you want to look at something globally, every 40 seconds, somebody dies of suicide. And if you think of that, it is just heartbreaking. People not thinking they're good enough, and you are. People thinking their life sucks because they don't have what other people have. You just see superficial things of what people have. Okay, they have a great house. They bought a house, but what does that mean? Doesn't mean they're happy. Oh, you see somebody on their boat. Okay, they bought a boat, but what makes their life better than yours? Nothing. So please, I beg everybody to truly appreciate everything you have in your life. And when you start finding gratitude every moment of the day, you're alive. You should be grateful. Do you have a house? Let me tell you something. I didn't have a house when I was a teenager. I had couch hopped, and when I had my daughter, who was 3 years old, we did not have a house. We couch hopped. People take that for granted. If you have a family, you are so blessed. I wish as foreign as it is for me to say, I don't know what it feels like to have parents, is as foreign for you to hear me say, the unimaginable, for people to think I can't live without my parents. I don't even know what that feels like. So all of our worlds and our journeys are so different. You know, if you go into a bookstore, you love the bigger, the better, a library, because there are so many different books. Some people like fiction, nonfiction, mystery. There's so many different topics, just like we're all different people. So I literally wish I could just beg everybody to realize the blessings you already have within you, and to really appreciate the life you have. And we are all not born with a silver spoon. We are all not born with a perfect situation. We are all not born in wonderful conditions. I mean, I was not a wanted baby. I was the uh-oh baby from a one-night stand. My mother tried to kill herself after I was born, and my biological father left at 4 months old. So I was never wanted. And for the first time in my life, I, at 54, can now say what it is like to love yourself. I work every day. I mean, my mental health conditions are there. My anxiety, my depression, my ADHD, my OCD thoughts. I mean, they're there, but being aware of everything makes it so easy to manage and to live with. So knowing what I have doesn't change the scenario or the outcome, but I'm able to live a great life. And I realized I used to, and we all are guilty of people pleasing. We do things because we don't want people mad at us, whether it's our boss asking us to work extra hours for free, whether it's the PTA asking you to bake extra cupcakes when you don't have time but still saying yes. It's agreeing to carpool when you really don't want to drive to the party Saturday night. So whatever the situation is, by saying yes to somebody else, you're saying, I care so much more about how you feel towards me than how I feel towards myself. I don't want you to be mad at me, but I'm going to go do the thing that I agreed to. And now I am going to be really mad at myself, and I'm going to become a bitch, and I'm nasty, and I'm angry because I people pleased. And so now you go out in the world and you see your friend and you're like, what? Just whatever. And she's like, what's wrong? And you're like, nothing. What's wrong with you? And a whole argument can erupt. I don't want to say friends because you don't really argue with friends like that. But what I'm trying to say is you take that energy and then it goes on and it's like a domino effect. But the happy side is you can also take happiness and spread a smile. You could say hello to somebody. There are so many ways to make yourself feel good. Self-love is something that I talk about all the time because, again, it's taken me 54 years to love myself. And by people pleasing and stopping that, when I was married, then we got divorced, now we're married again, but I was not healed. So anything that my husband did or did not do for me, I took personally. I couldn't, if he didn't call me, why is he not calling me? If my husband said, let's go to this party, and I do not want to go to the party, but I did because I was afraid he would be mad at me and then divorce me. So living like that without communicating how I feel, I fell apart. I had a breakdown. I fell apart. My family fell apart. So it's really now I know I love myself. I am going to allow myself to receive love. I also have learned that the importance of communication, because you're helping, again, this is all with self-love. Nobody's a mind reader. And I also am not going to, if somebody, I'll just use my husband as an example. If I think he's being a little bit distant, or when we were married, I would think he's being a little bit distant. And if you're giving me now my imagination to run free, and now I know he was in a work mode, but at the time I'm thinking, he thinks I'm gross. He's mad at me. What's wrong with me? Am I, whatever flaw I had, I Jumanji sized it. And now I have an attitude because I presume that my husband is mad at me. And he walks in the room and I'm like, what? What's wrong with you? Nothing. Now we're arguing over because I presume something. Had I said to him, baby, what's going on? Nothing. I'm just thinking about work. Oh, okay. It's not me. No, of course it's not you. So you got to communicate. It is so imperative for any relationship. And when you say no to someone, and these, I'm going to say boundaries is one of the most important up there on the top of my pyramid, and they don't make you a bitch. People think if I say no to someone, I'm a bitch. No, it doesn't. You're not telling someone to get the fuck out of here. You're saying, I'm sorry, I'm not able to make it. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I have too much on my plate right now. Okay. And anyone who loves you isn't going to care. So there is nothing that you have to do if you don't want to do it. Simone Biles, let her be your queen of, fuck, you're right. She did not do the Olympics because she was going to be triggered. Now, the Olympics, if she could say no to that, you could say no to a PTA meeting, a dinner, anything, driving if you don't want to be the designated driver. But communicate and don't expect people to be mind readers, because they're not. Nobody has any idea what's going on in our minds. So you will feel so much better. A lot of stress will be taken off of you. All of us, we're so quick to presume people think the worst of us when, people really, I don't think, care that much. And why can't we learn to appreciate the good things? We're all so easy to look at our flaws, which are all fabulous, but there's so much magic in everybody. Everyone has a special talent. I'm in awe when I go to, when I watch ladies give other people pedicures. I'm like, damn, I could never do that. Or when I see people building and construction outside, I'm like, damn, it's hot. And look how they do this. So everyone has a special gift, and do what your gift is, the best you could be of that version of you. When I first started this, I was like, podcast, I don't know how to do this. And I just rambled, which I still kind of do, but I give myself a time limit now of rambling and I have more designated notes and it's become more of my passion. But I just started. I stepped out of my comfort zone, put my vulnerability out there. And I got to tell you, I love it. I love trying to be the best podcaster I can be. I never would occur to me to look at another person's episodes, how many they have, how many downloads. That is the most irrelevant, makes no importance in my life. And maybe at one time I would have seen, let me see what they're doing. Let me see what they're doing. But I don't care. I just want to know that my episodes for Marni are getting better, more interesting, keeping the conversation going. I love doing it with my daughter, Taylor. I heard from my friend Susan, who wrote me last week. And Susan, if you're listening, you literally brought tears to my eyes. She told me that we met on a business call and there was no reason for her to listen to my podcast, but she did, and it made her feel inspired. She told me it was her go-to on the ride home from work. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Like, thank you, Susan, for just saying that. Because I know out of the 5,000 people I know that don't tell me they're listening, I know right here Susan is listening, and I've made her feel a little bit better than she did before she got in the car. So this is why I love doing what I'm doing. I was given a gift of trauma and drama, and I have healed from it, still healing, but I have learned from it. So I was given these gifts of being a wonderful storyteller and a story to tell. So for me, it's a win-win. And the fact that Susan, I love you so much, told me that I'm her go-to, like, yes, I'm doing something right. So on that note, guys, make it a magical Monday. Find that one spark inside of you that brings you such happiness or gratitude. If you are having lunch today and you just need that extra 5 minutes, or if you're feeling overwhelmed in work and you need a few minutes outside, take it. You got to protect your mental health. If your cup is not filled, you cannot fill another cup. I think that makes sense. So guys, have a magical Monday again. I love you all. Don't let anyone burst your bubble. Never let anyone dull your sparkle. And tomorrow, Taylor and I putting the fun in dysfunction as that sparkling mother-daughter duo that we are. Thank you guys so much. Love you.
Thank you for tuning in to Fabulously Flawed. Remember, every Tuesday and Thursday, it's your time to join Marni and Taylor, the mother-daughter duo that's redefining family time with a twist, putting the fun in dysfunction, one episode at a time. Craving more? Visit us at fabulouslyflawed.com. And don't miss out on the feel-good vibes with our exclusive merch at fabulouslyflawed.net. That's with 2 Ds on Etsy. Keep your sparkles shining and spread that fabulous energy.